How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about PROG stock. We saw on the Friday it was extremely volatile. We had news surrounding a new variant. We also did have a short day. And due to the fact it was also a short week, the volatility was at an all-time high. But one thing that was very clear though, we ended up filling in that gap on the Friday. I've been talking about it for quite some time on this channel. And now you're asking, where do we go from here? I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in a bearish case scenario and as well as in a bullish case scenario. I want to make sure you're fully prepared. And then we're going to go on Fintel taking a look at the short interest information. The reason why the short interest is important, it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know what was the buying and as well as the selling behavior like on the Friday, which was yesterday that just passed. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for PROG. Let's see how it performed on Friday. So it ended up closing at $3.64, being down 2.93%. On the low, it tested $3.43, and then on the high, testing $3.78. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 21.279 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days being at 103.716 million shares. So that is well below the average, but keep in mind, due to the fact it was a holiday week, we also did have a short day, and on top of that, it was pretty volatile. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is the daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is right at 51.89, so right there in the middle. And then when we take a look at the moving averages here in our chart, we have strength above the 100-day, the 50-day, the 200-day, but we are below the 21-day EMA. So like I was talking about in the previous videos, I wanted to see PROG come in to fill that gap, and it did exactly that, right around $3.53. But on the Friday, you could see we ended up testing a low of $3.43. Of course, yes, we did have the scare in regards to the new variant that came out, but you have to keep in mind, PROG still did fairly decent with all things considered. One thing I want to see a continuation of going into Monday, though, is us continuing to hold up the $3.50 level. If we decide to pull back even more and even break through 343, this is where the stock can actually go down quite a bit, where we could see levels of 339, and after that, of course, you'd want to see how well it would hold up around 334, and then if it doesn't, then of course you're going to want to see some strength right here around 315. So that's what I'm saying. The best case scenario for us is to hold up 350, but I would still remain bullish on the stock as long as it remains above $3, because we still have strength above the 200-day. So as far as the bullish case scenario, what I'll be looking forward to, we could see at 378 being the high, you're going to want to see PROG make that move going to $4. We know this will be a psychological error. There'll be a lot of resistance, a lot of profit taking, but I feel if we have volume coming back into the stock, we could easily get past this level. So this is why I say keep an eye on that high that we saw at 378. If we end up visiting 380 and there's volume, like I said, 4 is not far-fetched. So let's see how it performs going in on Monday. So we're going to take a look at the short interest information for PROG. So we can see for the dark pool short volume ratio, it's at 52.03%, and then for the dark pool short volume being just over 6.68 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 1.2 million, updated 26 minutes ago, and then for the short ball free rate, it is at 54.65%. Now, when we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we could see for the 24th close, which was a Wednesday that just passed, it was at 48.35, and then for the close for Friday that just passed, which was on November the 26th, it was at 52.03. So we do see a clear increase there. So what this tells us, there's a lot of negative market sentiment around the stock. But one thing that we do know, if we have buying pressure and volume coming into the play, we could look forward to seeing some strong moves to the upside. And it's part of the reasons why I want you guys to keep this on your radar and make sure you have a strategy before deciding to get into this play. So now let's jump into the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for PROG. So we can see here on the inflow, it was at 15.48, and then on the outflow, it was at 17.40. So we ended up having an outflow day. When we take a look at the breakdown even further, we had 0 on the large. On the medium, we had 11.35, and then on the small, we had 4.13. When we take a look at the outflow side on the large, you can see 0.26. Also on the medium, we had 12.45. And then on the small, we had 4.69. When we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for Friday, November the 26th, it being a negative outflow of 262.31. Again, there was a lot of selling pressure on the Friday for the market as a whole. When we take a look at the breakdown even further, we had more selling than we had buying for the small scale orders, which tends to represent the retail side. But again, there was still demand. People were still buying up shares. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying as well. But again, the demand continues to be there. But when we take a look at the large, which potentially could represent institutions, we had 0 on the inflow side, but we did see that we had 0.26, which we confirmed when we took a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days. So now when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 13.00%. So of course, there were many traders that were going in and out of this play. I wouldn't be surprised due to the fact we also had more selling pressure, and then we also had people who were purchasing the dip that we saw inside the stock as well. So this is why you want to make sure you have a concrete game plan before just jumping in blindly when it comes to plays like these. So now let's jump into the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for PROG stock, the main levels that you want to look for going into Monday, we want to see it pass $3.78, which was a resistance on the Friday. So I want to see a move going to 380 and up. And when we do get that move, I'm looking forward to seeing us make that test going right to $4. Of course, that will be a psychological area, so I wouldn't be too surprised if we end up having some selling pressure. But the buying volume can definitely help with that and move the stock even further. You're also going to want to pay attention of the overall market conditions. If it looks like things are going to continue to sell off on the Monday, then PROG will struggle. I want to make sure I really emphasize that. I haven't really seen anyone actually talk about that, but that's one thing that you want to be aware of when you go in with your game plan for Monday and especially for the rest of the week. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, it still continues to have short squeeze potential, so that's going to contribute to the overall volatility. So this is why you want to pay attention to those key areas of support. On the Friday, we ended up testing $3.43, so you're going to want to see this area actually continue to hold. If it does not hold and we end up having a sharp pullback, then you're going to want to see some strength at least around $3.15, and you'd want the price action to stay above that. I would still be bullish on the play as long as it remains above $3, because then that puts it right above the 200-day. The moment it breaks through the 200-day, that's when things can really start continuing to look bearish for this stock, and I want to make sure I bring that to your attention. I'm not going to be that type of channel that's going to tell you that, hey, PROG is going to be going to the moon. Is it possible? Most definitely. Just like many other stocks out there in the market, but you want to make sure you're being realistic. You want to make sure you don't have greed and emotions guiding your trading strategies. Also, when it comes to taking a position, I want to make sure I really put a big time emphasis on this. Make sure you do not go all in on the first entry. Inside of the Discord, I'll tell everyone, you know what? Go in with 25% first. The reason why we do this, not only to minimize risk, but we also want to make sure if it decides to dip back further and it's in a healthy range of the consolidation, position, we could add a bit more and then we can make more profits when the stock runs up. Again, this is something I do not hear about whatsoever on YouTube. No one really puts the word out. Instead, they just want to say stocks are going to the moon. The shorts have to cover all of that. All I'm saying is I want to make sure you guys are smart and you're not just following the crowd, holding on to positions, bag holding, and buying at the wrong prices because someone was saying, well, you know what, you need to hurry up and buy now. That is not the way to go. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. I'm going to be very interested to see how PROG performs on Monday and as well as for the market as a whole, and we'll be talking real soon.